early game. The first obvious lesson from early access was that it took too long to get into the fun at the first contact with the game. Part of the Proving Grounds was about addressing this. We placed enemy camps in the Heartland Valleys and added basic gear and spells so that players now have the option to go on an adventure within the first few hours of play. And I love that about that. I'm all for, I think games become more accessible to new players when they're easier at the start. You can have a ramp and you can have a curve, but they need to be tangible, right? They need to have the proper systems in order to, whether it's a tutorial or whatever, in order to get people used to the game and its systems and how to play it. And I think that having these smaller camps is so great with new players, with the new player experience. They introduced the journal along with overall balancing passes and helped make the learning curve for crafting less steep. And talking about adventure, the world revamp also included our first new biome since Alpha, the Corrupted Plains. That's true. We did get 1 new biome in 9 months. More recent, the addition of the compass makes finding your way around the world of PAX Day more convenient. I've talked about the compass. I mean, I think that the compass is just like, it's a nice thing to have, but it should have already been there. I mean, come on. I've seen people make a compass in a game using Unreal Engine in 5 minutes. It should have already been there. But nevertheless, we do have the compass now. They say we're far from done with this aspect of the game and intend to keep iterating on it in upcoming content updates. I want to pause here for just a moment. They talk about the exploration and adventure in the game. I really think that this game could benefit from a fog of war system with some level of cartography. I mean, sure, people would get lost, and we're getting the grace where maybe you can use it to recall back to places if you get too lost. I think fog of war, Ange, I don't know how you feel about that, but what do you think could be done to the exploration that would just take it to the next level? Because the game is beautiful. The game has some so just downright gorgeous, breathtaking views, minus like the splits in the world and stuff like that. I think Fog of War could add a lot to the adventure and the sense of mystery in the world. I don't know if you have anything that you want to add onto that, or if you agree with me that, they could do that. What do you think about the adventure and stuff in the game? How do you think it's progressed, and where do you think it's going to go in the future?
I 100% agree. I think that's a cool aspect of it. But what also, if we go a step further and you get some type of perk or bonus for each area that you explore, and not just like, not just say Mary or something like that, but you go a step further. Every gate that you go through, you get some kind of perk. So it encourages you to keep exploring the map.
Yeah, I agree. I think that could be a really cool way to bring uniqueness to each of the zones without it being like overpowered. Because then some people would be like, right, oh, well, Tremin is the place to be because it has this thing that's 10% better. People will always metagame though, so that's going to happen. But
right.
Fadril says, I'm in all survival and strategy games, I love and prefer Fog of War. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Fog of War could be really cool. Gorefor says, I would have probably backed Star's Reach if they had plans for decent PvP and territory control. I agree with you 100%. That was one of the biggest things that I was saying about it as well with people when I would talk about it was just that, decent PvP and territory control. Now, they did say that like you'll be able to own planets and stuff, and I thought it was a little odd that you could just buy a planet through backing, like $10,000 packages and stuff would get you like your own world. I'm not really all for that. I mean, but then again, I play Star Citizen where you purchase big ships, but we've talked about that before on the channel where it's a little different with a crowd-funded game and stuff. So it's interesting to see though that other people had that same thought, Goreforce, because I was thinking that same thing about Star's Reach. I think that Star's Reach is a really cool project though, and for anybody who's into what it is, I think it's going to be something very special. I think it's really, really cool. And I'm probably going to cover more of it in the future as well. UTB says, okay, every time Ange speaks, Ange, let's go. Goreforce says, random event NPCs having issues that you can solve, other things that bring out emergent gameplay other than just enemy mobs. 100%. I want world bosses. I want random caravans that go around. I want incursions and stuff where you have to fight off waves of monsters maybe that you could trigger yourself so that way you're choosing to. I want random events and things that just pop up in the world, dynamic events that happen based on maybe only when a certain number of people, or if people do some little rituals and stuff. There should be ways to trigger stuff and really, truly immerse yourself in the world around you, and having dynamic events and even events that are put on by, I forgot the name of the game, But there was a game that I don't know if it just got bad reviews or if it fell through or something, but they had actual in-game game masters that would go around in the world and they would trigger stuff. They would actually put into effect different little like stories and stuff that was being developed in real time. There was another game that I played. It was called, gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a horror game, like the Midnight Club or something, or I can't remember the name of it, but they had actual voice actors for a short while on the payroll that would join your lobbies, and it was immersive horror. They would actually interact with you and they would know your character name. They'd be like, Voidlock, I see you. I'm watching you. And then like something would run past in the shadows and stuff. They would literally make it immersive horror that you could choose to opt into. I'm not saying they need to go to that level, but giving us dynamic events like Star Citizen has with these dynamic events that are going to be taking place and stuff, well, that have been taking place. I think that really elevates it all to just the next level. Goreforce goes on to say that KCD world feels infinitely more interesting to explore because of the random event NPCs and bandits. I love all of that stuff. Fedril says, I want the world to not just look lived in, but actually be living. I agree 110% with that. Maven, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Maven says, I love the idea of wandering DMs, Dungeon Masters. Yeah. I think it'd be really cool they could even really lean into it and endow certain people in the community who are in positions. But here's the problem though. Then it becomes subject to like out of character grievances and stuff like that. But let's say I run a huge clan. I could offer quests to people or something that normally would not be available anywhere else. Like it brings people together, honestly, at the end of the day, as long as people can keep, their personal feelings and stuff out of there. Sa says Mother Moon. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that adventure and that part of the game, because adventure for me is one of the biggest things. I love exploring new zones and going places that maybe have never even been seen before. Another Tangia dungeon being fired up, guys. Go ahead and join that dungeon. Get some exclusive gear. You can actually get vouchers through those that you can then redeem for on-screen events. Fedril, I don't know why your messages were just filtered. They were deleted by Stream Elements. They still did show up on stream. Oh, it's because of all the exclamation points. They had filtered it. Just ignore that, guys. It still popped up on stream, but it removed it from the actual chat. That's automated. It wasn't me. Beans waving at Maven. Saw says rude Stream Elements. Absolutely. It's like Carlbot over on the Discord. It's always telling people, hey, you can't put that many. I actually did change it. I changed the attachment warning now. It doesn't actually do anything. Don't worry about it.